Hi, Caleb. Great post. I just wanted to talk about a lot of the arguments that you mentioned because you mentioned a lot of very good arguments and very valid points. So I just want to touch base on them and give my thoughts on each of the the three problems slash controversies that you mentioned. You first mentioned the political concerns, and I mentioned this in some other posts, is one of the political concerns that I saw with the Department of Homeland Security is, of course, when we always have a new cabinet or new agency or new department, the political arena always starts to ask who should be in charge, what leaders should be involved with the department. Um, so that was one of the really big political concerns I saw within the Homeland Security is the Department of Homeland Security is who should be in charge, and picking somebody to be in charge and who should run it and who should be involved with it. So politics always comes into play when it comes choosing somebody who should be in charge of a new department. You mentioned conflicting mandates, and you mentioned a list of them, and what came to my mind are there too many topics within this idea of the Department of Homeland Security? Are there just too many entities that can go under this one organization? And by establishing if there is too many entities within this one organization, does that create conflict because there's too much going on and all this other stuff? Because what came to mind is topics of homeland security and national security could be like immigration. You mentioned some of these: domestic terrorism, cyber terrorism. When are there too many um, topics going within one group to handle, and is this the Department of Homeland Security able to handle all these entities? And if it's not able to handle all these entities, is this one of the problems slash controversies that there are too many national security topics within the Department of Homeland Security, and maybe we should space them out to just another department handling cyber terrorism or immigration or something like that? So just to wrap up the whole conflicting mandates thing, is there just too many broad topics within the topic of national security? So I think you touched on that as well. And the last thing that I thought about, and I think you touched on too, was how far can the Department of National Security go to ensure safety? Because I know you mentioned wiretapping and the TSA at the airports, but I just wanted to mention a recent, not a recent experience of mine, but today my uncle was telling me a recent experience that he had. And we know when we go to museums, they usually display some kind of signs of something you're not allowed to have inside, whether it's food or drink or weapons or anything. But my uncle was recent, and museums you can really just walk into and they don't metal detect you or anything like that. But recently, last month, my uncle went and visited the Holocaust Museum in DC, and I can't remember exactly when it was. It was either last in 2011 or 2010, but one of the security officers was actually shot and killed in the Holocaust Museum. And now they have, it's just like when you walk into the Holocaust Museum, it's like you're actually going into an airport. They have all these security metal detectors and all that kind of stuff. And my uncle had a pocket knife, just a small one, in his pocket, and it was not even a half inch over what the it was supposed to be. And they made a huge to do about it. The supervisor said that they were going to call it in and call the police, and in result, he just decided that he was going to let his family go and look at the Holocaust Museum, and he decided not to. But it just makes me think of like how far like national security measures go, because um, I'm so used to just walking into a museum and not being like scanned and going through all this other stuff. But when does it go too far, and do we need those type of measures? So I think you hope all this made sense, but I think you definitely touched on some really important controversies with the political ones and the conflicting mandates, and how far national security and the home Department of Homeland um, security actually goes. So thank you for your post. It was really informational, and I look forward to your other posts.